Senator Warnock, I got one of your church members sitting up here, Gary, with the tea.
Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Pastor Warnock?
I'm good. You say he's one of my church members. Has he paid his tithes?
Oh, I pay my tithes every Sunday. I'm there, Pastor Warnock. Yes, sir. I sure do. And I love it when y'all send the receipt in for taxes. I like
that. I love you, brother. I'm just giving you a hard time. Good morning, everybody.
Man, we are so concerned, and we're going to get right into it. Happy to have you. Thank you for taking the time. And Senator Warnock, right now, millions of Americans, they're really caught up in the middle of a government shutdown. SNAP food benefits could be delayed, or even stopped if Congress does not reach a deal soon. And that means that people really, going to be struggling just to keep food on the table. So I just really appreciate you coming on. And, like 42 million Americans could lose SNAP benefits next month. What are the latest efforts to keep that funding going? And pretty much just give us an overall of what's going on and what are you experiencing and seeing?
Thank you so much. Look, this is a serious issue, and as a pastor who serves in the Senate, my heart is really heavy. As you point out, millions of Americans are their basic food security is on the line right now. But let me be really clear. It's important that your listeners understand this. We're in the midst of this shutdown, and I know there's a lot of back and forth. Whose fault is it? Democrats, Republicans? And I'm happy to talk about that. But here is what's an actual fact. The SNAP recipients are not a part of this fight. They're being dragged into this fight. The USDA has $5 billion in a contingency fund. There are other resources that they could make available, and it's just for this kind of situation, for these circumstances. So they have literally decided to drag hungry families and hungry children into a political fight, pitting sick people against hungry people. I think that's deeply immoral. And it's the reason why I'm calling on the Trump administration to release these funds. In the meantime, there are those of us, yes, who are in the faith community, our food banks and others are getting ready to respond to this impending catastrophe. But I want to make it clear that this is unnecessary organized cruelty.
Wow. So I was surprised to see how many children benefit from SNAP. And I saw in 2023, almost 40% of SNAP beneficiaries are children. So I just want to know, how do we get to this point, and what is holding up this agreement in D.C. to protect families and children relying on the support?
Well, the fight is about health care. And, right now, as I speak, folks who are on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, people who get their health care on the exchange because they can't afford, a private plan. And that's a lot of people, 22 million Americans, 1.2 Georgians right now are on the exchange. And as they are opening up their premium statements, as they go to healthcare.gov across the country or Georgia Access, here's what they're going to see. They're going to see that come 2026, the premiums for their health care have doubled. And that's not the exception. I mean, on average.
That's crazy.
On average, your health care premium, if you're on the exchange, has doubled. It is crazy. And for some people, it's tripled and quadrupled. So that's what the fight is about. We're in a moment where Donald Trump said he's going to lower your grocery prices. He didn't do that. Gas prices. So the price of everything is going up. And then on top of that, you're telling me you're going to double and triple and quadruple the cost of health care. That's a non-starter. That's what this is about. And let us not forget, why are they doing this? To give billionaires a tax cut.
Oh, God.
What can Senate Democrats really do to push the issue at this point regarding SNAP benefits?
Well, we're pushing the issue. And listen, we didn't just start. I have voted several times this year to extend these premium tax credits. That's what we need. We need these tax credits that will make health care affordable. And I'm a pastor. For me, this is a moral issue, but it's also a practical issue. It is not in America's interest to make our workforce weaker, sicker, and poorer. We are in a moment where we need the best, and we need everybody at the table. And so that's what's at stake in this fight. As I said, I've voted several times this year to extend these tax credits. Republicans blocked it every time. And by the way, I've voted 7 times already to keep the government open. Let me be really clear. I hate government shutdowns. And the truth of the matter is that we've been witnessing a slow rolling government shutdown all year, right? From day one of this administration through DOGE. We started to witness them basically shutting down the government. And so this is just the apex of what they've been up to all along. And these SNAP recipients are not even a part of the fight. They're literally dragging them into the fight, pitting hungry people against sick people. And as a Matthew 25 Christian, my North Star is this: I was hungry and you fed me. Jesus said, you asked Jesus, when were you hungry? And as much as you've done it to the least of these, you've done it also unto me.
Absolutely.
And so I'm appealing to the better parts of our nature, trying to get us to do the right thing.
Wow. And Senator Warnock, we know that this shutdown is really hurting the pockets of, it's going to hurt, especially the pockets of our parents, other seniors, working folks that's living paycheck to paycheck. Right. Are there really any options or any access that people have to any kind of federal support at this point, or should they just rely on local support and private organizations for help?
Well, I'm going to stay in the fight because, again, these resources are available. We suffer not from a poverty of resources, but of moral imagination. They're centering the politics rather than the people. But in the meantime, as we go into this weekend and folks are wondering, are their EBT cards going to be reloaded and renewed? People can go to feedingamerica.org and find out where your local food bank is. You can do that both to donate to your local food bank and also to find out where the nearest food bank is where you can receive food. And I know that many in the faith community, my church included, are going to stand up in this moment, and we're going to help as many people as we can. But I'm not naive about this. The scale of the need cannot be met by the faith community and by these food banks, which, by the way, have also been hit by this administration earlier last summer. $500 million, which had been voted on a bipartisan basis to go to the food banks, was clawed back by the Trump administration. And so these food banks that are already in distress are now being called upon to respond in this manufactured crisis. But again, as a voice for Georgia and as a voice for all the people, as a pastor in the Senate, I'm going to continue to try to call on what Lincoln called the angels in our nature, and center the people rather than the politics, and hopefully get the government open, back open, get the SNAP recipients the resources that they need, and ensure that people don't have their health care doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Who can afford that?
Yeah, I have a real important question to ask you, Senator Warnock, and I just want to give me honest opinion because I'm really concerned about our democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Senator Raphael Warnock joining us this morning. More with Senator Raphael Warnock coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, we're on with Senator Raphael Warnock. Pastor Warnock, I want to ask you, and I know it's too early to be talking about 2028. Do you think that Donald Trump is setting himself up for a third term, and will they really just ignore the United States Constitution? Would that happen? Would there be a third term, in your opinion, from everything that you see and know?
No, there's no doubt about what the Constitution says about this. He can't run again. Donald Trump says something ridiculous every day.
How do they stop it? If you got control of the White House and the Republicans control the Senate and the Congress, and he has control of the military, how is he to be stopped from running for a third term?
Listen, part of what this administration is up to is flooding the zone. They throw something at us every day. They are trying to weaponize despair in order to convince us that they've already won. And this is just one iteration of that. He'll say a lot of different things, but what he's really saying to you is don't fight. We've already won. We've already got this. They're trying to weaponize despair. And then when you give in to that, you stop fighting, and then they do win. And so what I want us to do is to straighten our backs. We're in this fight right now to try to do the best we can on the healthcare fight, save these SNAP recipients. But I want people to really stay focused on the fight that's in front of us. I mean, he's saying all of these things. You look at the polling; it's clear that he keeps going. He's taking on more and more water. Americans already have sticker shock. They already have buyer's remorse. And I think he'll say something today. He'll say something tomorrow. Who knows what Donald Trump is going to say? But I'm going to stay focused on the people. You know, in these times, I think often about something that Andy Young, you know, I live in Atlanta, and so I get to walk around these civil rights giants every day, and they inspired me because they had no reason to believe that they could win. And they kept fighting the good fight. Andy Young tells his story. He says that after they passed the civil rights bill into law, that Martin Luther King Jr. and his lieutenants went to see President Johnson. And Johnson was so, excited about the fact that he had passed the civil rights bill into law. Dr. King, without skipping a beat, said, "I need a voting rights law." And the president kept saying over and over again, "Look, you're right about that, but I just can't get that done right now. I don't have the power to do it. I don't have the power to do it." So they left the meeting. The staff was feeling all demoralized. They said, "Dr. King, what are we going to do?" The president says he doesn't have the power to pass voting rights. Dr. King, without even skipping a beat, said, "Well, if the president doesn't have the power, I guess we're going to have to go and get him some." And so that's what Selma was all about. They went to get the president some power. So what I'm saying to you is that as a voice for Georgia, as a member of the United States Senate, I'm going to fight for you every single day. But it's really not about the people in power. It's about the power that's in the people. John Lewis understood that. Amelia Boynton, who stood up on that same bridge and was gassed, we don't say the women's names often enough, she understood that. Hosea Williams understood that. I understand it. Stay in the fight. And all of your friends who say, well, it doesn't matter whether you vote or not, because that's the other thing they're trying to tell you. It doesn't matter. Your vote won't count. Your vote counts, and they know it. That's why they're busy trying to gerrymander the districts and do everything they can to discourage you. We will not be discouraged. We're going to send a love and hope, and we're going to remember our ancestors who had no reason to believe that they could win, but they kept fighting a good fight anyway.
So let me just ask you, it's easy for me to straighten my back, as you say, because I got good company insurance. My kids aren't SNAP. But these, I'm concerned that, Trump thinks and the Republican thinks that the Dems will cave because, we're upset about people not getting food on the table, not having insurance. Is it possible that the Dems will cave?
Look, we're in the fight right now. And I'm on the line because I need people to stand with me and to understand what the fight is all about. These issues are not simple. I don't like to see hungry children, but I also don't like to see people finding their health care unaffordable. And so I'm going to keep on making the case.
Wow. Man, I know it's a lot. If you could predict and look in a crystal ball, when do you think that the government shutdown will be over, and do you think that the Republicans will come to the table? Like, where's the breaking point in all of this?
I can tell you that they are feeling the heat, because here's the thing, Ricky. Folks are couching this as a fight between the Democrats and the Republicans. Here's the irony. Guess who really needs these ACA tax credits? Guess who's on the Affordable Care Act? More Republicans than Democrats. More Republicans than independents. Guess who needs these SNAP benefits? They're particularly needed in these rural areas. It's the red districts in Georgia and red districts all across our country that are being especially hard hit. I know for a fact that some of my Republican colleagues want to fix this because they're hearing from their own constituents. And so I'm going to keep on fighting the good fight. And look, we know that in politics, we don't ever get everything that we want. But the Republicans need to come to the table. Here we are in the midst of this fight, and the House hasn't been to work in 6 weeks. They
Yeah.
put work requirements on Medicaid recipients. If they put those same requirements on themselves, they wouldn't have health care right now because they're refusing to even come to work, let alone come to the table. Why? Because they don't want to vote on the Epstein files. They're more focused on protecting pedophiles than they are on protecting your health care. More focused on protecting pedophiles than protecting hungry children who are being dragged into this fight. And so, again, I'm going to keep centering the people. I'm going to pray with my lips as well as my legs. There's an African proverb that says, when you pray, move your feet.
Yes, sir.
And so wherever you are, move your feet, check on your neighbors. Let's stand together, do everything we can for each other, and let us not give in to those who are trying to weaponize despair. When we fight, we win. If we don't fight, we don't win. And so I'm going to keep on fighting a good fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for Senator Raphael Warnock. Hey, man, we love you, and God bless you, man. God keep
I love you.